welcome back to another episode of Learning to Play Through Play. I am Amoni Panala, and this is my series where I teach you how to play by playing the game. We are in the middle of the epic arc Bloodstained Stars, and today is going to be a little short because of reasons that we'll get into towards the end of this video, but this is going to be a short one. So to start, let's talk about how the Bloodstained Stars is a good place to knock out some of the Air Career Program tasks. If you look through the tasks, you will notice that there are some that you can get done very easily, like killing X number of enemies or salvaging wrecks. You'll see in the footage that I was salvaging wrecks. It only took me a couple extra minutes to do, and it was very easy. By the time I finish the Bloodstained Stars, I will have a number of these Air Career Program tasks completed, meaning that I will be that much closer to free SP. Now, you're not going to be able to complete everything, but if you completely ignore the Air Career Program, then you are wasting your time. This is part of a sort of ethos in playing EVE Online that has to do with efficiency. And if you've played other MMOs, this may be a familiar concept to you of doing things efficiently so you can get the most reward out of doing a thing in a certain amount of time, right? So the way that EVE players typically refer to this, it's called ISK per hour, as a way of measuring how efficient you are at a task. And so a lot of EVE Online's gameplay is calculated in terms of efficiency, in terms of ISK per hour. Are you making good money doing this? Now, the epic arc Bloodstained Stars is not about efficiency. It's not about trying to get the most money you can out of it, right? But doing the Air Career Program tasks is a way of increasing your efficiency. By getting both of those things done at the same time, you are being efficient with your gameplay. For some, efficiency can take the fun out of certain activities, and I am one of those people. It's why I don't do mission running, because I find the way that EVE players typically do mission running, where efficiency is a top priority, that is not fun for me. So I don't really engage with mission running. In fact, I find so much of the PvE activities very boring and unengaging, especially when trying to be efficient. And this is not something that is bad for other people to engage in. If other people like this stuff, that's great, and it's not a bad thing that we have differing views on what is fun. That is the nature of being human. We're going to move right along. I want to talk about trade hubs, because as you will see in the game footage here, I did go to a trade hub called Dodixie. Technically, it's Dodixie 9 Moon 20, but everybody just refers to it as Dodixie or Dodi. It is one of the trade hubs. Now, these trade hubs, there are 5 main trade hubs. 3 of them are useful for you to know, but I have all 5 in the class notes if you want to know what they are. These are based on historically significant locations during a period of gameplay where alliances were fighting each other in nullsec and needed to get specific locations in highsec. They would do a lot of trading with NPCs, and they would trade with other players at these NPC stations. Even though it may not quite make sense why these locations are the trade hubs, it is a legacy of this game being almost 22 years old at this point. And the history, the way players have shaped the game, is felt in the location of these trade hubs. There is one trade hub that stands above all others by far, and that is Jita 4, Moon 4, the Caldari Navy Assembly Plant. There are 2 stations called Jita 4-4, but one of them is the Caldari Navy Assembly Plant. It is helpfully labeled as a trade hub. It is by far the largest trade hub with the best and most competitive rates for everything on all of New Eden's markets. You will pretty much be able to buy anything there. It is also extremely busy, and we'll talk more about Jita 4.4 because there are things that you should know about being there that does not make sense for me to get into it right now. Much easier to do when I'm actually going to Jita, and we'll go to Jita probably after this epic arc. The Amarr 8 Oris Emperor Family Academy, which is often just referred to as Amarr, is the second largest trade hub. There used to be a relatively easy high-sec route between Jita and Amarr. It was cut off during the Second Triglavian invasion. If you want to get from Jita to Amarr or vice versa, you need to either go 20 plus jumps through high-sec, which is inefficient and dangerous. People will still blow you up in high sec, especially if you're carrying valuables and make it, it seems worth their time. Or you can go through Abazon. Abazon is a notoriously dangerous system to go through. It is a low sec system, which means that player combat is encouraged. Abazon, the gates in Abazon are almost always camped, especially on the route from Jita to Amarr. If you go through Abazon, you are almost certainly going to die if you are carrying any sort of valuables. You can usually get through there with a shuttle. Sometimes you will get blown up by a smart bomb, but Abazon is a very dangerous system and you should not go through there unless you need to. And you certainly shouldn't go through there with stuff that you're planning to sell because you will almost certainly lose your stuff. The third trade hub is Dodixie 9, Moon 20. This is the one that I go to in the gameplay today. Federation Navy Assembly Planet. Now this is often just referred to as Dodixie or Dodai. As I said, it is the third largest trade hub, but be aware that the stock at this trade hub is severely limited. As for Minmatar space, there are two. There is the Hek 8, Moon 12, and Rens 7, Moon 8. Both of these are severely lacking in stock and suffer from the lowest traffic, which is why I'm not spending too much time talking about them or clarifying their names. Just know that there is one in a system called Hek, and there is one in systems called Rens. They are not super great. You will find more stuff there than you will find at a random NPC station, but they are pretty pitiful compared to Amarr, Jita, and Dodixie. Trade hubs are extremely dangerous places. It may not look like it because you saw me go into Dodixie and it looked very quiet. It may not have looked extremely dangerous, but you should assume that every trade hub is a dangerous place. People know that you are there to buy and sell stuff. There are people that routinely scan ships, and if you have the right amount of valuable stuff in your ship will get blown up. You may not notice when somebody scans your ship. There are scanning devices, scanning modules that can scan passively without alerting you that you've been scanned. Do be careful. And we'll talk about strategies for safely navigating trade hubs when we go to Jita. Be aware in the meantime that trade hubs are dangerous places. And you should not have a metric ton of valuable stuff in your cargo if you're not willing to lose it. Definitely be extremely careful about going to trade hubs. Now, the reason why this video is going to be so short is that I ran into a game bug. I got to a specific mission in the epic arc where it was asking me to warp to a location and do a bunch of stuff, and the warp to dead space location button was missing, and so I had to submit a ticket. Now this is a thing that can happen. It'll happen every once in a while. It's not often, but it does happen. And when this kind of thing happens, you have two ways of reporting an issue. You can do it in-game by clicking the question mark icon and selecting the appropriate option. It'll say report a bug or request GM help. You can also get help by going to the EVE Online website and selecting report. If you have never submitted a ticket before, you will have to verify your account so that they can link up your account on EVE Online with their support website, because those are two separate things, and so you will be asked to verify those things. But it's not a big deal. Now, depending on when you submit your ticket, it may take a little bit, but you will most likely get a reply within 24 hours. I got a response for this issue within 10 minutes after I put in the ticket. You may have to respond a few times to clarify what the issue is and to get it resolved, just like I'm having to do with this one. Always remember that no matter how frustrating the bug is, the people responding to your ticket want to help you, right? That's their job. But if you like this video, be sure to like, subscribe to the channel, and share it with your friends. Until next time, folks, fly dangerously.